Okay, hi guys. Here's Oasis number 3. Um, this hole's all about the spin. I find it pretty simple. 95% of the time, you're always going to play it the same way. Um, so let's take a look here. So you're almost always going to play from here, and all it is about setup for the wind. So if I have a right to left wind, I put the red ring at the rough, and if I have a left to right wind, I put the yellow just to get a little closer. And it's just about the adjustment in the wind. This is another hole that I think the Goliath has an advantage over the Grizzly. If you have a strong headwind, sometimes the Grizzly, like you have a quasar or something, you'll be in between clubs. You'll be pulling into over the max of the Grizzly. This play down here, this island, is a no-no. Let's just put a big X in there. We're never playing there. It's a dumb shot. Seeing people play it, they hit the tree off the tee all the time. The shot's no good. The other shot is to possibly, rough bump it in here. Okay, and like somewhere along this line. Okay, and that shot, okay, I only play in a crosswind, and I don't use the wind arrow because it's a rough bump, and I play from a sniper, min -5. Okay, that's the way I play it. So in the tournament, the last time this hole was in a tournament, that was like this is your best shot at a hole-in-one, is that shot, because you can see the ball guide going right after the hole. So if you do play that shot, I'm not sure. We're going to go through some examples if I even have that shot there or not. I noticed that I didn't have a lot of examples for some reason on this one, although I've played it a million times. Basically, it's one backspin to 1.5, depending sort of on the wind angle. And if your wind is like going that way, right, then you're going to put the ball guide on this side of the hole, and then opposite, if your wind is going that way, you're going to play your ball guide on this side of the hole, like right beside the cup, but let that wind affect, it'll push it a bit, or opposite, depending on which way the wind's going. Okay, but the 90% of the time, you're going to play this shot, and I play no elevation with arrow. Okay, no elevation, and because there isn't any. Okay, you'll see people saying +10, whatever. There's no elevation on this hole. You can see it when you're on the tee and you're shooting. Again, people use elevation sometimes to compensate for wind effect. And I don't do that. I use the wind arrow on the app. And so let's look at some examples, and then we'll come back to this. Why is this such a long video? This is like a 4-minute video. I must have left it on or something. Let's see what happens. So you can see here, Goliath. See how I'm, that wind is going the opposite way, so the left to right. So I'm getting tight. That yellow ring, pretty tight up to the line. And now see, because that's 3 and a touch backspin. Okay, and see I'm getting up real tight to the line there, playing back just a touch. I would say this is a little bit too much backspin. If I was to play this now, I probably would have played closer to 2.5. And that's sort of the thing. You don't want to overplay it here. So let's see. So it looks like, looking at that, it was maybe a touch into overpower. So that's probably how I got away with having. See how it landed past my landing zone, right? So playing it normal and just the 2 3/4 backspin would have been good. So when you have the left to right wind, you always play max curl left, max everything left that you can do. It tends to work out pretty good. But I would say that was a little bit too much backspin. It's all about the spin, really, this hole. So I can tell, like, these are older videos. I can tell by the sort of the clan I'm in here. So here comes a rough bump. Okay, so I would have played it min -5, and you can see I'm playing with a cat, and I'm just trying to see, I'm going past the hole because the wind's going to bring it back, the wind effect. Okay, and I probably played this shot because my opponent was close, and I only play it in a side wind. You don't want to play this shot in a headwind or in a tailwind. It just never works out. But in the side wind, you know, even if you get your left or right wrong, your vertical is going to be okay, and you should be able to catch the rough there. So you can see how this shot always comes in pretty nice. Okay, so next. Okay, so this one, see, yeah, that's better. See how I have just one and a touch of backspin? You know, if it was a heavier wind, like an 8+ wind, I probably would just use one backspin. So this is the right approach here. So on headwinds, we're just going to play, you know, one or one and a touch. If we're above the 8 mile an hour, we'll play one backspin, and everything's max again. So this is better. I'm not in overpower this time. Great right is always usually okay here. For whatever reason, it just seems to always work out fine. So that's a good shot. Next. Okay, so this is the same match. I'm showing my opponent's shot here. So let's see what they did. So he played max left, and he played one and a touch as well. So you can see in that you know that. Oh no, this is a different one. So this is the 6-2 that way. Okay, so this wind, yeah. So that seems about right. About a 1.5 backspin. The key is to not play too much backspin, and because I see guys all the time, they play too much and then they don't make. They just hook it too much. Because what happens is that spin when you bounce here, and then you hook it down into the rough down there. So that's a real nice shot by my opponent. Okay, next. So you can see this is the sniper rough bump here, right? You can see that ball guide's pretty nice, right? So again, this is a min -5. We really went right after this one. So I played the 3.1 rings there. And you just have to watch if you're pulling the other way, you got to watch about hitting the tree. That tree in front sometimes you can hit. You know, you can see that came in perfect. You know, and I didn't play the wind perfectly there. Probably should have played it a little bit more past, but that's fine. Next. I wouldn't think I would have had so many examples of this, but so again, you can see, you know, that the 1/2 to 1 backspin depending on the wind. So see here, this is a little better. I'm aiming on the, you know, on this side of the cup, on the right side, because that wind's going to push it over a little bit. Okay, this shot's a little more scary because there is a, you know, a bit of a headwind. And that comes in nice as well. So you can see that rough bump's pretty effective. It's just that min -5. Okay, so here's a shot. See, I've got the grizzly on, and I've got the bigger headwind. Now, I'm lucky I have a power 4 ball. So let's see, this will be pushing like right into that max almost. So see, there's one backspin only. Okay. You know, and that, see where that bounces seems to be, you know, that's always where you want your bounce to be, is up, you know, into that top fringe sort of. See, I'm in the +5 mark now with the grizzly, so probably almost into max. There's not a lot of power on that club. And you can see I'm playing a touch of overpower there. And that bounce, that was a nice, you know, right into our landing spot that we were aiming for. And came in really nice. Okay, so we didn't have a lot of examples there. We need more of those, but I think everyone's played this hole enough to know, like, you know, where our landing area is. so we always want to land, into this area-ish here, and it's just about your pull. Okay, so I play no elevation with the wind arrow. Okay, so always just be careful if you're pulling out to the sand here. Okay, not to pull too much. Maybe take like a 0.2 off. You never want to pull, into the rough there and miss the pad. Okay, and just be careful of where you are in your, your medium max. Like with the Goliath, you're sort of in between mid and max. With a Grizzly, you're sort of more into the max. But just watch for those plus markers that we've talked about, the +2, the +4 mark on your screen to see where you are, where you're pulling to. If you're got a tailwind and you're pulling it back, you're getting closer to that mid number, especially with the Goliath, right? So not to pull too many rings, okay? And let's see here. Okay, can't pull it back, so let's just get out of here. Okay, so with arrow, no elevation. Okay, and we're gonna play, our wind. Okay, so with the tailwind, okay, we're gonna play up to 3 backspin at the max. No more than that. If it's a low wind, maybe even like 2.5. But I would say 3 backspin at the max. Okay, and then this one is a half, to 1 backspin depending on the strength. If you have a real heavy headwind, maybe half a backspin. So then, theoretically, these side winds will be about, somewhere from 1.5 to 1 3/4, something like that. Okay, the other thing to remember is if you have a big wind going this way, okay, you can take a little curl off. You don't need to play the max curl in that shot. So like go into your max curl and then just come back a little bit. That's the easiest way to show that one. This is a pretty straightforward hole, but it's really just about the spin to not overspin that shot, and you should have good success. And we'll see you on the next one.